Well, thank you, everyone. Thanks for coming. We'll get started. There might be a few stragglers that come in, but I want to be respectful of your time. My name is Johnny Ziem. I'm the Assistant Public Works Director for the town of Jackson. I want to thank you all for coming out. I know everyone's got busy weeks, but it's good to get everyone together and have a good presentation for our Gregory Lane project, and have an opportunity to answer any questions that you guys might have, and kind of go over the general overview of the project. So why we want to meet today is to really let you know that the project is about to start next week. And we'll go over that a little bit more detail as we progress through the quick PowerPoint I put together. And also just to let you know kind of how the project's gonna phase, who's on the team. We have a bunch of team members here, including the general contractor. So if we have questions, we'll hopefully have an answer for you. So let me jump in. So we're all familiar with the Gregory Lane project. Been working on this project for quite some time. So it's good that we're at the point that we're at in the process. A little bit of background, just kind of like going over the preliminary design components. There's numerous parts and pieces to this project. We have about 6,300 feet of new stormwater pipe. This is not a replacement. This is a new stormwater system that's going to alleviate a lot of the flooding that we've seen on the corridor. We're also going to put in some stormwater treatment systems, new curb and gutter. We're going to replace the water main that's within Gregory Lane. Additionally, we'll be replacing the sewer main in Gregory Lane as well, adding streetlights and roughly 19,000 square feet of sidewalk. Good news with this project is we're going to dig it up once and we're going to replace everything. So our hope as Public Works is that we don't have to come back into this corridor for quite a long time, short of hopefully fixing potholes. So that's a general overview of what the purpose of the project is. We'll be putting in a new road as well, and doing a little bit of adjustments to the S-curves, and putting in new signage. So for the project team, there's a couple components here I just wanted to point out. So obviously the owner's the town of Jackson. The general contractor is Evans Construction. Evans will have multiple subcontractors working on the project as well. Our resident project representative will be Jorgensen Associates. Jorgensen worked with us over the last year and a half on the design, so it'll be good to have them on the team day to day. Our project management is going to be overseeing the resident project representative, and that'll be done through our Town of Jackson Engineering Division. We have assembled a really good outreach team. We have the Town of Jackson External Affairs, which is a department of the Town of Jackson that deals with outreach and communication. And we also have Jessica Javert, who's sitting right beside me, with 3 Elephant Public Relations, who we've been working with over the last year through the course of the project as well. So we basically are looking at kind of 2 major milestones with this project. We have what we're anticipating on completing in 2025, which is starting at High School Road and getting up to around where MPT is. That's North Park Transportation. The second phase of this project and second milestone will be what we'll complete in 2026, which will be from North Park Transportation all the way to South Park Loop Road. So if we look at the 2025 work that we are going to do this summer, We've divvied that up into 6 stages, and we will start with stage 1, which is the farthest on the left, and we will progress through stage 6, which is the last stage by NPT. So through these stages, we're going to stay in each stage and get all the utilities put in, and get everything done for that stage as much as we can, and before moving to stage 2. Big difference is, like, we're not going to, replace the pipe all the way up the corridor for like water, and then we're going to come back to stage 1 and start on sewer. So we're looking at kind of compartmentalizing this, and doing all the work in each stages. So this is kind of a general detour plan that we have. We'll get into the signage a little bit, but we're going to be utilizing some variable message boards, which we'll have on the highway. When we start, here's High School Road. So when we start on stage 1, we're going to be detouring people around and having them come into Gregory this way. As we progress, we can move the road closure up and allow access in here as well. When we get into stages 3 and 4 and 5, we'll be around kind of Burger Lane and the Martin Lane area. So we'll be utilizing the drive around on Martin Lane, Carroll Lane, and Burger Lane. So when we have this section closed, people will be able to come in each direction and still bypass where we're working. So with that, each phase, we have a little breakdown of each phase. So this is segment 1, or phase 1. High School Road's on the left. We'll be working up to close to the bike path, where that comes in. The second segment will be working towards Burger Lane, kind of in front of the UPS. And then the third segment will be in front of the propane shop, and right in front of Burger Lane. And the fourth segment, or fourth phase, will be between Martin and Burger Lane. On the map, Martin and Burger Lane are on the wrong sides. Burger Lane's on the left and Martin's on the right. We don't have the 5th and 6th phases put together yet, but when we do, we will get those out as well as the project proceeds. But they'll be working in the same fashion in these little segments as we move to the terminus of phase 1, or this summer's work, which is ending at North Park Transportation. So communication is going to be key, and it's going to be something we're going to be working on heavily and strongly. We're going to be providing signs and regular communications that will note that businesses are open for the duration of the project. We're going to do weekly construction updates, which will be emailed to stakeholders, business owners, detailing what was accomplished the previous week, but also to give you an idea of what to expect the next week. Like I said, we were going to utilize various variable message signs on Highway 89. We have some out already. And then additionally, we're going to be updating Waze, which is Waze is utilized to get closer information onto apps, and maps and travel information on your phones and on your vehicles. So lastly, this is my last slide before we'll open it up to questions. Our project manager is going to be Jeff Silliman. He is here. Hi, Jeff. Hi. Jeff will be our project manager, working with our with Jorgensen Associates. All questions, emails, comments, ideas, concerns will want to funnel through Jeff. So this is Jeff's contact information for his email. And with that, I will open it up to any questions.
I got one. Is there any consideration for traffic control on South Park Loop during certain times with Old High School Road, especially with the buses and everybody, people trying to turn left or right and stacks up pretty good there.
We haven't thought about any traffic control per se on that intersection. It's not to say that we can't. Most of our traffic control has mostly been focused on where we're working. But it's something we can look at. Yep.
Great question. That was one of mine as well, because it'll be doubled in whichever direction traffic is funneled. So we can get stacked a dozen cars deep trying to get out on High School Road. We'll be 24 cars deep when there's only one exit, trying to get out of that park. During the busy hours of school in and school out, there's gonna have to be some representation up there, getting traffic in and out of the industrial park. That's one. Number two, also reflecting on your business, when that traffic is brought around the backside in front of your front door, there's gonna have to be something handling the parking back there, because it gets snug. And when it's 18-wheelers trying to swing back through there, and I mean no disrespect to anybody, the landscaper that leaves his trailer in the road to go run a quick errand is gonna kill the industrial park unless there's somebody out there guiding that, and that is a constant problem. It's a problem now. It's always been a problem now. It's been basically ignored, and it's gonna be a dramatic problem then.
It just, sorry, I'm Brian Liz, I'm the town engineer. I work with Jeff, I haven't met all of you. Jessica and John, you've been doing most outreach. You're with
Canvas Unlimited.
Canvas Unlimited and then Bison Lumber, so the Carroll Main area.
Correct, when it goes around the backside.
Trying to turn from Martin on to Carroll's the challenge now, and yeah, so that's all gonna be about trying to, so on a typical day, we'll have 50, 60 trips going out to jobs with different trucks. And, you know, if we get stacked up for half an hour trying to get on the road, trying to get out by Maverick, that really puts hurt on trying to schedule things as hard.
Right.
Agreed. And yes, I think the parking on Martin is gonna be an issue, so we're gonna have to deal with that. Parking on Martin and Carroll on that corner is definitely gonna be an area where we wanna post no parking. And we might contemplate posting no parking all along your fence.
We've already taken the front of our fence back, but the side on Carroll for sure is gonna be problematic.
Yeah.
But it's gonna come all the way around Berger too.
Yep.
When you talk about the congestion up at near Maverick during school hours, you're gonna have trucks backed up all the way to the highway trying to make that corner during drop off and pickup hours. If we don't control that, it's gonna be a fiasco. And the last note that I've got on that same topic is trucks make decisions well before they get the intersection. The signs, we put a sign at the top of Gregory Lane, left or right, north or south rather. Once the truck's on that, you're gonna have an 18-wheeler realizing that road's closed if it's not warned way up at the highway coming off from the village road. Because when he makes that corner and he doesn't know where to go, you're gonna have 18-wheelers going through Cottonwood and everything else. That needs to be vastly early warned for these guys to make those adjustments, trying to figure out where they're supposed to be when their usual route or a route they've never driven before is suddenly gone. So I think that whatever notification is planned needs to be way earlier in both directions. It needs to be up near Albertsons for trucks coming around that corner from there, because over the summer they can come up and over the pass, and they will. And when they do, if they end up on South Park Loop and that entrance is closed, you're gonna have truck drivers making bad decisions. And you're gonna see them in Cottonwood, and you're gonna see them in Blair Apartments or whatever it's called now, and you're gonna see them running past the schools when the kids are on recess, and same thing on the southern end when it's the issue down there. It's gonna have to be really communicated to 18-wheelers, because it's the microcosm of what we fight on Martin Lane is gonna be spread throughout that community if we don't get that word out successfully.
Agreed. Yeah, chief.
Jeanette, I'm Michelle Weber, I'm the chief of police. I totally concur with what you guys are saying about, by Maverick and South Park. I mean, that's a given day, so totally, see your concerns there. My question, I think, is for you. When you're making that turn on Carroll Lane, are there specific businesses that we could be contacting to have conversations with, or is it?
This, the tour companies with the wildlife tours and the landscape, everybody uses whatever they can, parking is premium,
So
so.
all those businesses
Everybody,
right there on
Yeah,
Carroll Lane?
everybody pays.
They operate their businesses in the road, that's not appropriate, on best of conditions.
Okay,
So in the worst of conditions, when it's torn to pieces, it just can't be blocked by people operating the business in the road because they have too big of a business operating on too small of a property.
okay.
It's a mess. It's a mess now. It'll be a real mess.
I just was wondering if there's any specific businesses that maybe we could reach out to.
I'd be glad to talk to you about that.
Okay, all right.
And when the time comes on Carroll Lane, is maybe put up just no parking, some barricades all down on the west side. So that you don't have an issue there, whether it's barricades or just cones or something that just shows people there's no parking.
You're saying down the fence line,
Down the fence line.
Bison lumber,
Right.
Yep.
kind of like they've already got their concrete blocks out on.
Yeah, you can see it. I have a Google map image. So when we get down Martin Lane,
Everybody put their hand on their heart.
Cause I know like,
Gregory.
there's issues
Yeah.
with the auto detail place.
so here's the issue right here is. Once my computer catches up. So this is Martin making the turn on the Carroll.
And those cars are already not there anymore. We've solved that.
So this is something that we have to watch, and we also have to watch, this corner as well.
Mhm.
The other issue that I've noticed going down,
But that truck right there is gonna be a huge problem. That truck on the corner hanging out in the street's gonna be a problem.
we can definitely rectify, I think, this situation here,
Mhm.
and create a no parking for the duration of the project. As we go down, we'll have to work with these entities that try and get them back as much as we can, away from the road. Down here, as we get a little bit farther down, generally, parking lots. But as we get to Burger Lane, I think generally this corner is pretty well open. Unless it's hunting season and everyone's stopping in there. How do you guys feel about Burger Lane? Do you see a lot of people parking on the road? Or is that an issue?
I've never seen it as an issue. Like I said, you got time to deal with that, it's the South Park loop, that's gonna be I can already tell that's gonna be huge.
That's gonna be a mess.
For school buses trying to get in and out. Unless you have some kind of, a light or some kind of traffic flag or somebody, it's just, I don't know how you're gonna do it, as congested as it is. Cause when you go there at 8:30 in the morning,
You're stuck.
you're stuck for,
You're stuck.
15 minutes, just trying to get out on the road. The way it is now.
It'll get better with them apartments when they're all done.
Yeah, that'll help.
Well, yeah.
What's the question online? It's down. Is there a question online?
Any questions online?
Oh, there's different persons that can handle.
Ben,
Ben, you can unmute yourself. If that is Ben or ACM.
Yeah, hey, this is Ben Ocker, Heidi. So this project starts next week, the 6th, and I assume for the 25, we're running to mid-October, which is about 24 weeks. And so that would be about 4 weeks per segment. Is that kind of the schedule expectation and what we can expect for this year?
Yeah, Mike, do you wanna talk about like how each phase will work?
Sure.
Cause there's some components, you know, when we're in each phase doing the utilities, that's a hard closure.
Yep.
But when we're doing other things, there's the potential of having it one way.
Right, so I'm Mike Camp with Evans Construction, I'll be the project manager on our side for this. So looking at this thing, trying to break it down, obviously the underground infrastructure is the biggest headache for everybody. And there's a lot of unknowns there, so what we've scheduled and what we've staged is our best guess in terms of scheduling, in terms of what we think we can do. Again, there's some unknown things under the ground, as a lot of locals know, have been there for years, that we may find some stuff we don't wanna find. We're gonna keep our fingers crossed and hope it goes well. But the way this thing's broke down is we're basically giving ourselves about 3 weeks per segment for the underground utilities. So roughly 3 weeks per segment. We hope it goes quicker. And as we complete each segment, we'll step on to the next segment underground. As we're doing that, as we move that segment, we'll safe the road up so it is passable and operational. And once we get underground utilities about 3 segments up onto the 4th segment, then we're gonna come in, we'll still have one-way traffic at that time behind the closed segment, and we'll come in and start prepping the road for curb and putting crush in and getting it ready. And we'll be chasing, our crews will be chasing on top the utility crews, maintaining access at that time. There won't be any hard closures. It'll be one-way traffic, but nothing will be shut off, except for that particular stage that we're doing underground work. So we'll be roughly 3 weeks behind, 3 stages behind, and we'll slowly catch them at the end. But that's more or less what you look at, is a 3-week closure in each stage. And those stages are approximate. We can wiggle a little bit here and there. Some places, some of these businesses are only gonna be impacted for a matter of half a day while we tie in utilities. And some are gonna be impacted, you know, we're gonna be right there on the edge of your business for 2 weeks. And access is gonna be limited. I don't see that we're cutting off anybody entirely, but there's gonna be limitations on getting in and out in some spots. So that being said, the segments are constructed based on where the new manholes have to go for this project. So we've got a little wiggle room, maybe 50 to 100 feet one way or the other of those stages, but we can't really slide them 200 foot one way or the other, because it's all based on the underground infrastructure where we have to tie the live sewer in and the live water in to keep everything flowing.
Awesome. Thanks, Mike. Did that answer your question, Ben?
Yeah, it does. Thank you.
Yep. Thanks, Ben. Dave, you have a question online. Go ahead.
Yeah, just Dave with North Park Transportation.
Hey,
So
Dave.
yeah, how you doing, John? Good to talk to you there. Our concern that I've talked about the whole time is just entrance in and out of our property being right there on the corner and having tractor trailers. We can only come in right now. It's hard enough for us to come in one way, and so when we get to that point and you're going one way, and if it's the opposite way that we need to enter, we're gonna have to just make sure we can work through that a little bit, because it's already narrow enough as it is, and I got tractor trailers coming in and out of that corner right there. So not saying it can't be done, but surely my concern is that we work together to get through that piece. And you're stopping it at me there between phases. So if half our drive, it's already tight enough, and if half the drive's blocked, it'll be even tighter. But I'm sure you've done it. You guys are the professionals. We're just the truck drivers. But obviously that's our biggest concern, is how we're going to maneuver that corner with a tractor trailer when some of that's blocked or one way. So just asking that we work together through that thing and not just come in and throw up a sign and say you're closed today, because I can't have that happen.
Yeah. we'll definitely work with you, Dave. Evans Construction and our team will definitely work with everybody to make sure we are solutions based and we are trying to figure out access and keep access open as much as possible.
Right, and
So,
then
for sure.
the only other thing I thought is, and I don't know the area enough, Justin and my team does, but you know, as you route us off side roads, that they are trailer accessible and there's not trees and again, they may be fine, I'm not sure, but we check that before we start routing people down. I know you said you're gonna route them around Burger Lane and that thing and you know, we're 13.6 to make sure 13.6 can go down that, you know, usually that's what happens to us. We'll take a top out of a trailer in a minute if it's not, so.
Good point. Thanks, Dave.
Yep.
Matt, you have a question?
Yeah, I own the lot on the corner of High School and Gregory, on the northeast corner. I have a bunch of trees and some irrigation running along Gregory. Is the plan to remove those trees? I don't know how far that new sidewalk is gonna go.
Yeah, Matt, we'll have to review the plans and look at it. Where did you say it was again?
Like that, it's literally on High School Road and Gregory, on that north,
You're on the corner of South Park or High School Road and
yeah,
Gregory?
yeah,
Across from Factory Business Park.
yeah, exactly.
Gotcha.
It's the first one on that corner. I have a bunch of old trees and irrigation kind of, well, I'm sure the irrigation is gonna go, because that runs all the way up to the street. But yeah, kind of curious how far that sidewalk's gonna go and if it's gonna affect those trees.
Okay. We will get back with you, Matt, and work with you on that from the plan set.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Any other questions online? Any other questions in the room?
John, did
Yes, sir.
anybody ever explore an easement to go out the back of Martin Lane through what I would call the old Mad River boat trip building
We're
to access onto the highway?
right.
You could split this thing in half again
Yep.
with even staying one way.
Yeah, we are looking at that right now and seeing if that's a possibility. Obviously, we need to get permission from
Yeah, it may
the
not
various property owners.
be the big trucks, but you could sure get all these people behind Bison lumber out
Yeah.
that other way.
Yeah, it's a good idea. Yeah, we'll look at that, Norris.
Okay, there's a learning curve, you know. Mike and his team, Rob Hartman's gonna be the superintendent on the job. He's been in the valley for his whole life. You know, they've already been on site, sort of trying to learn habits, learn patterns, deliveries. But we're also gonna need some help from you to help coordinate truck drivers. It's kind of an oxymoron coordinating truck drivers, but yeah, you know, hopefully we can train the people who use the neighborhood on a regular basis to learn where we're working, how to navigate the neighborhood. We're gonna try and we have some more signage work to do that comes along with notifying people a little sooner. Again, some people drive by the signs and you never see them, and all they do is we can tell them, well, you passed the sign that told you not to come down here. But that'll be one of the challenges, but you know, we wanna. Mike, Rob, his team, Jeff, and the Jorgensen team, we're gonna be getting to know everybody in the corridor. Westwood Curtis is actually the excavation subcontractor who's gonna be doing a lot of the utility work. They've worked on just about every street or a lot of it, just about every neighborhood in town. So they have a lot of experience in town and they're get to know you. But yeah, we're gonna, you know, this is important feedback to know from people who are in the neighborhood, but there'll be a learning curve. Hopefully, we can train people and get some good habits going.
I'm probably one of the big receivers of incoming trucks into that industrial park. Car traffic is rather flexible. If there is such a thing of, it's great news to hear that there's gonna be even limited one-way traffic in some areas and the fact that it's segmented off, it's actually good news. If there were such a thing as a weekly update sent out or periodically, I can forward that on to the vendors that I know are coming to try and inform their delivery staff. The unknown ones that I don't know are coming because it's a truck coming out of North Carolina, there's no way for me to tell them, but I can head off the normal, regular dailies. If there's updated updates that I could simply forward it on to their dispatch department and say, make sure your truck comes to the north entrance today or the south entrance next week. That would help out a bunch if that's possible.
Yeah, and Jeff will be putting out weekly updates every Friday. So we'll kind of recap what we did that week and we'll look forward to next week.
And we can try and pass it along to the people that come regularly to us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll have weekly update meetings like we're talking about with Jeff and whatnot, and we'll pass along what we're expecting to come across the following week. Just to get for that same purpose, because if we notify you, that keeps your guys and your truck drivers out of our hair.
Our truck's leaving, that's an easy one. We can decide whether to go north or south based on what you're doing. It's the incoming stuff. But if the normal incoming stuff, I think I can control pretty well that information.
Yeah, and we'll notify weekly. Like I said, the schedule that we present now, at the end of the project's probably not gonna be worth anything.
Yeah.
Because it's going to adjust.
Understand.
There's gonna be segments we really go fast in, and there's gonna be segments we found a buried Volkswagen, I don't know.
Quite honestly, I'm gonna send it out to my customers and everything, because so they know how to get in and out with the least difficulty.
So, yeah, as long as we communicate, and I think that's the key thing, and with Jeff and the other members of the town, pitching in the way they are, I don't think we're gonna have any issue.
Right.
We're gonna have two very competent on-site superintendents that have a good relationship with a lot of business owners and folks already, familiar faces, so we'll have that one-on-one conversation out in the field too. So there'll be two ways of tackling that communication.
Great. That's helpful.
And the ways that we do with our notices that goes out to the navigation apps, that's linked to Google Maps. Apple Maps picks it up. And so that'll give the navigation equipment real-time updates on where the road's closed. And we've had pretty good success with that. It's pretty slick interface for us, so.
Yeah.
Are you offering alternative parking anywhere else? I mean, you may have said it, I don't know, but when you went down the road and all those cars you say that aren't gonna be parked there, where are they gonna be parked? And because if all they do is move down the way and make it even tougher for tractor trailers to go around corners. So is there an alternative that you may be offering people to park and shuttle or whatever? Because, some of those scenes that I've seen that you've shown today, if all they do is move down the road and block traffic more, I don't know if you have alternative for some of those people that aren't there now. I mean, where are they gonna go?
Thanks, Dave. Yeah, so we haven't really envisioned an area where we can provide additional parking. That's relatively close. The school district would be one place that we could potentially work with, at least during the summer months. If they were open, so we'll look into that, Dave.
Yeah, I could just see them just moving down and parking on every little spot they can find, and it makes it even harder sometimes, that's all, so.
Yeah, good point.
One more safety concern is, so the kids on the way to middle school, and their packs on e-bikes, they fly down Burger Lane instead of going down the bike path. And with that many people, it's just something that, I don't know if there's some way to, down where Charlie Stan's building is, keep them on the bike path for safety reasons. I mean, we've dealt with this for years and I don't know how to, if they're just kids being kids, they don't pay attention, and,
Are you saying they come off the bike path
yeah.
near Charlie Sands and
Yeah.
then come down Burger?
Cause they're trying to take a shortcut over to school, and instead of.
Kids never take shortcuts.
No. But it's a huge safety issue, and, West Bank, there've been so many close calls, and, now you got more people just concentrating, so it's just something there's some way to keep them on the bike path. And use the proper crossing at Gregory Lane, it would really make a lot of drivers feel safer.
We can definitely look at signing that and getting the word out.
Okay, that's all right.
That's a good point.
Like Deckers.
Do you guys see a lot of bicyclists coming down Gregory Lane, say from South Park Loop Road? Or are they kind of
Mostly
navigating around?
pedestrians.
Yeah,
I mean, there's everywhere, during school, kids are just everywhere.
no. Good point. The other point too, and Susan, maybe you can talk a little bit about like, what's our approach to, you know, getting the word out, like what sort of avenues are we gonna use?
Sure. I'm Susan Scarlata, the Director of External Affairs for the town, and we do have a lot of channels that we'll utilize. I mean, Jeff will be doing weekly emails, but we post regularly on social media. We have e-blasts that reach 3,500 locals. And we'll be doing that at least monthly about businesses remaining open. 3 Elephant is gonna help us with signs, and a lot of support for utilizing all the channels we have, so. Whatever we can do to support you all as the businesses there, we'll be doing communications wise to keep things, as, flowing as well as we can, and everyone's informed, and keeping the broader community informed about this project as well as you all, and, how it's impacting and where we are in progress, and we'll do press releases every now and then, and, just make sure we're getting the word out and the broader community is aware as well. But yeah, if you ever have questions for us, Jeff will be in contact with us regularly as well, so, yeah. For sure. And someone asked when school is out, the 13th.
Well,
Of June. Yeah,
alleviates the
yeah, so
problem
it's
right
out a
pretty
month of
Yeah.
construction with
So
school.
it's coming up again.
Yeah, in the
So-
summer, and yeah, it starts earlier this year too, because they shifted.
Yeah, I think one of the good things about, you know, one of the reasons we're starting on a high school road is just the way that you replace a sewer line. You typically start downstream and you work upstream. It's just easier to do, control flow and stuff like that. But there's also an additional benefit, I think, to that as well, because I think, you know, that area, a lot of the parking along that stretch all the way up towards Martin Lane has multiple entrances or one big entrance. And I think it'll give you, Mike, and your team time to like really understand and get comfortable by the time we get done with this segment in 2025 and move into 2026. 2026 is going to be a different ball of wax in terms of how we are trying to close segments of roads and get trucks and get deliveries and get all of that stuff. So we're gonna really be, you know, I think working as a team with you, with the business owners, with us, we're all in this together. We're all trying to make it successful as much as we can. So having that open communication, I think, is gonna be really key. Yep.
Colby Stevens with the school district. The project starts next week. Will the hard closure start next week? Like the first segment. The reason I ask is we just need to start. We service all of Gregory Lane because obviously the reason you're doing the project, it's not very safe for students. So we service Coulter and Munger. And so we're just gonna need to probably move a couple of bus stops. Communicate with parents, and so is that a correct understanding that segment 1 part of closure next week?
Correct. And Mike, you can jump into that.
Next week, what's gonna happen is some general layout, and we'll do some 1-lane traffic closure for milling operations. To take the existing asphalt, we'll mill it off, from High School Road all the way down to North Park. Trucking, we'll just get rid of all the asphalt, we'll be under flagging operations, so there won't be any closures next week. The hard closure comes right now, May 12th, which is a Monday, if I'm not mistaken, but the following Monday. So that's what we're looking at, and as long as weather doesn't kick us out any longer, I mean, that's, right now, that's what we're looking at.
Thank you.
Thanks, Colby. And we'll definitely, work with you on the school buses. I mean, the nice thing is, I think once we get to phase 2, it's gonna be right around when school's gonna be getting out. So we do have to make that connection to your water line coming down towards the bus barn. So I think that timing could be beneficial.
You have, the school is also going to be beginning their bus barn construction project somewhere this summer. If you have big projects or some work that's happening, let us know about that sooner than later. So we can start factoring that into the plan.
Colby, do you know when that's gonna start?
I believe they're trying to break ground July 1.
Okay.
Yeah.
They're getting all the wood from Todd, right?
Yeah, that'd be easier.
Quick delivery.
Yeah, that's good to know. That's the only other big project I think that we're aware of in the general vicinity. Other than ongoing projects, obviously we have the loop project, so ongoing on South Park Loop Road. We have the Central College going on High School Road. We have a lot of the utility connections going on for North-South Park, but those will be paved here in the next week or two. So that'll be all back and open. Yeah, Todd.
Are there any breaks and services with utilities that we need to be aware of as business owners? Is there gonna be, I don't know what all you may not know what you're gonna come across when you start digging down.
We don't.
But are there gonna be days when we're gonna be short on power or water or sewer or internet or any idea if those will be impacted?
The only thing we hope to impact is the water and sewer,
Okay,
and that's just for tie-ins.
okay,
So if we're going to interrupt your service, we will let you know.
okay,
And it certainly won't be a long-term thing. We'll have to do tie-ins.
sure,
The sewer will be pumped around, but at some point in time, we've got to tie in services.
of course, yeah.
But water, power, internet, things like that, there's no plan to interrupt that. If that's interrupted, we've got a problem.
Okay. Fair.
Any other questions?
I guess we should talk, the driveways, because there's curb and gutter and sidewalk. As we get to your driveways, those will need to be coordinated. And depending on the business and the program, timing, we might have to do those one half at a time. Or if we can figure it out, we can do it all at once, then we're done. We need to pour it. We got 3 to 7 days to cure it before we can put traffic back on it. So it is, that's probably a bigger impact than the water sewer connections that they can do in a couple hours once they have them exposed. So the driveway closures are going to be more of a coordination matter.
And we'll work with each property owner on that timing, on that sequencing. So our main goal and objective is no surprises, right? So you guys know what's coming. We are going to have surprises. It's construction. Todd, I know you know about like construction and you can make a plan. So I think our ability to be successful is how we respond to some of those problems, how quickly we find solutions, how we work with each one of you, best of our abilities to maintain access and communication. So that's where we need to focus.
Brian or Jeff, is this sidewalk both sides or just one side?
It's one side, but it switches from east to west. On the east side at the north end and on the west side from the
VO lane.
Yale Lane South.
Okay.
You want to follow on the council meetings on that? Yeah, there's a crossing at Yale Lane.
Yeah, there is on the, Jared, on the south end at High School Road, we'll maintain the existing bike path, we'll redo it a little bit as well, but there'll be a sidewalk too. On the east side, connecting up to the bike path coming down Flat Creek.
Okay, yeah, I was thinking probably give Parks and Rec a shot off the bike path that comes over to Gregory Lane there behind Flat Creek Business Center.
Yeah,
Close it permanently.
for the whole summer.
Till they're done with at least phase 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They need to go on down to the high school road.
We're trying to keep them on High School Road, but in general, like, except for when we have a trench across. And we wanna keep a passable lane in there. Closures when we have to. The people end up there, so, you know, that's been our conversation is. You can detour them so much, but they're gonna be there, so how do we deal with them efficiently and safely?
Johnny, would you send out your PowerPoint?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
And we're also happy to send out our current plans as well. I know
I think they're available.
they're available on the web, but happy to send those as a PDF as well to those who need it.
Thank you.
Okay, well, we're always available. Like if there's a question that you forgot to ask, please email Jeff. And we will get an answer for you. If there's a question that comes up next week or in next month or in 3 months, please email, please get in touch with us. We'll get back to you ASAP and answer your question. Okay, well, thanks everyone for coming out. Really appreciate it. Thanks everyone online.